Bine ați venit! Clint van der Linde a început să cânte la Drakensberg Boys Choir School la vârsta de 10 ani. În calitate de solist, a cântat cu majoritatea orchestrelor din Africa de Sud. În 1996 i s-a oferit o bursă internațională pentru a petrece un an la colegiul Eton, timp în care i s-a oferit o bursă The Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mother, la Londra. De-a lungul carierei sale, a avut privilegiul de a lucra cu ansambluri și orchestre din întreaga lume. A fost invitatul unor instituții și festivaluri de renume: Teatrul Național din Varșovia, Teatrul Prague Estates, BBC Proms, Mostly Mozart Festival, Tanglewood Music Festival și multe altele. A interpretat toate lucrările importante și concerte din repertoriul baroc, precum și pe cele de contratenor din opere. Discografia sa, extinsă, include Il Pastore de Handel cu Armonia Mundi, Patimile după Matei de Bach, cu care a câștigat premiul Gramofon Coral în 2020, Liturghia lui Bach în si minor cu Signum Classics și Stabat Mater de Pergolesi cu Motor Music. Cea mai recentă lansare a sa din 2022 este Salve Regina, înregistrată cu Le Mufati la casa de discuri Rame. Planurile sale de viitor includ concerte cu Bach Collegium din Japonia și Masaki Suzuki, Ton Koopman, Il Gardelino și Le Mufati, cu apariții în Africa de Sud, Belgia, Spania, Portugalia, Austria, Marea Britanie și Japonia. Welcome.
Thank you.
It is an honor to have you here, and I am happy that you are here in 2023 when you know Timisoara is the European capital of culture.
Right.
It's the first time in town.
Indeed, yeah.
And did you have time to see a little bit, to feel a little bit the life of the town?
Yes, just on little casual walks, and because the architecture is so beautiful, simplistically beautiful, it was not hard to just see beautiful places just on casual walks through the place. And yeah, I had a very nice long walk last night after dinner by myself, and yeah, I got to experience a little bit. And also having dinner last night, I also realized that it's obviously a culture which is very family oriented. I saw about, 10 pregnant ladies and their husbands and families walking past in a matter of about 45 minutes. So I really realized something about,
our motto this year is shine your light, light up your city. Did you feel that Timisoara is lit up?
Well, I've got a real sense of, I should say, positive vibes in the city. It seems, also, the first thing I climbed off the aeroplane was the weather was great. But yeah, I sense that people are out to explore and feel happy, and yeah, the city feels really very joyful.
Well, thank you for these answers. Now let's talk a little bit about you and about why are you visiting Timisoara. I told our audience that you are singing from since you were 10 years old.
Yeah.
How was this experience as a child when you started to sing, the experience you had with music?
Yeah, well, first of all, the choir school that you mentioned that I went to was 400 kilometers away from where my parents lived. So it was a boarding school. We lived there, 100 boys. And the first thing to know is that it's in the middle of the mountains, away from pretty much any civilization.
Any distraction?
No distractions, just boys singing and doing music all day long. Of course, we had our school subjects, but my experience of music was all completely immersive and 100% just music. So it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. I mean, I was obsessed and dedicated from day one, very ambitious as a child to do really well. So for me, it was heaven. Yeah.
It sounds a little bit like the movie Le Choriste, what you are telling me. It sounds like familiar.
Absolutely.
When did you understand that you want to do music as a profession, not just sing, but make a profession out of it?
From the word go, since the beginning. I would say since I joined the choir school, I didn't ever think, in a sense, there was another option. For me, music was going to be my future from day one. So I was 10 years old, I started singing, and it was music. Yeah.
Did your family had anything to do with music before you got to that school? No?
No. My parents are not musicians at all. I think there are some elements of musical talent in the family, but no one was professional. Yeah. No. My father's uncle played amateur music, and he identified when I was 6, my parents should buy a piano because he thought I would be musical. So they did, bought a piano. I taught myself. Before the choir school, I taught myself, and I was already passionate about music when I was very, very young. Yeah.
It's an interesting story, and I think it's kind of an example for the young children and young people who want to discover their voice. Just follow your intuition, I think.
Absolutely.
Okay. How did music change your life?
I think the question is, for me, how does music continually change my life? Because music was always there for me. So I think that the discipline of studying music is something I think that has given me a purpose and has given me a focus. I think if I didn't have this purpose, I would have turned out a very different human being. So I think music has actually identified me as a human, but also given me goals and given me discipline. And that, as I said, it's a continuous influence on changing, because as you grow older, you keep your goals, but you also get new goals in this field of music. And it just never ends. My children, I've got 3 boys, and they all do music. And I explain to them that you never reach the ceiling. The ceiling keeps getting higher. So you're constantly working for improvement. And that's what makes it art. So I think it just makes you better as a human all the time.
Speaking of getting you better as a human all the time, what do you think? I heard that you are very, very into this project in Stabat Mater, and you came with your personal example. You are working now with a choir of children.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about this project. So Stabat Mater is a project that the cultural house of Timisoara has brought here in this specific year and not another year, so that music can go to many people. And I want to know what's your collaboration with the Equinox Choir and with the other choirs in this project, implied in this project.
First of all, I need to say that my emotional response to these kids, because I have the history of singing as a kid, and I really believe in the effect of choir singing for everybody, not just music, but specifically choir singing, because it's a social setup, it's social outreach that they do, and first of all, when they sing, the sound is so phenomenal. I said to the players when we did our first concert in Belgium, I said to them, you must really play because these kids can sing. You know, they really sing. They're producing a huge volume. And if you go to many normal choirs, kiddies choirs, there's always these little tiny voices and you can never hear them. Not with this bunch.
It's the power of togetherness.
The power of togetherness and the passion that give this inspiration to these kids, and they are able to bring out this sound. And that's the first thing I want to say, is that the sound that's coming out is just so incredible. Just comes from here, and just it's really quite amazing. So my experience is quite an emotional one, singing with these guys, and it's a joy. Yesterday, in the concert, obviously tonight, there were these 4 girls singing a piece that they created themselves, and it was so powerful and moving. I didn't understand a word, but I was still feeling the emotion that they were just clearly communicating. Tiny girls, I don't know, 10, 11, I don't know, and just, it was really quite astonishing. So yeah.
So do you believe in the healing power of music? No doubt.
Well, if music, but specifically singing. I think that there's a therapeutic, physiological vibration that's going on that is very therapeutic, but also the emotional expression that, you know, when you go see a therapist or whatever, you talk everything out, right? But in singing, it's like a language which you don't need to even understand to express emotion. And I think it's incredibly therapeutic, yeah.
And how about this piece, Stabat Mater of Pergolesi? What should our audience expect from this?
This is a piece that has stood the time of history and has been in Belgium. It's on the radio. It's the number 1 most popular piece still, year after year. And the power and simplicity of the music is constructed so incredibly. I would say even if it wasn't sung so wonderfully, it will still be powerful. The audience doesn't need to go with any expectation, I say. I think they can just go and just listen, because the music is simple. It's so beautiful, written with, in musical terms, suspense and release from the very first movements. The violins come in, and then they just answering each other with these very close harmonies of tension and releasing. And it pulls on your emotions just from the beginning, and the audience just needs to go and be open, I would say.
You will sing in this concert like a soloist.
Indeed, yeah.
But you also have the choir in your back. How do you collaborate with the children? And
I don't know. I just think the way it's set up in the hall is we're nearly facing each other, and I think it's a very nice little dialogue, you know, that we have. So we see their faces, they see our faces, and they sing choirs with this incredible energy, and then we sing our solos. And I think there's a mutual inspiration going on between the two, and it's, as I say, like a dialogue.
I said in your presentation that you have sung with a lot of great names of the stage. Please tell me a few names that marked you, that had an input on your career, like I don't know, masters, maybe teachers, or even stage colleagues.
Wow. It's so many.
I know, but
so many.
Let's choose a few.
I will. I mean, first of all, I'm inspired nearly every time I meet colleagues. But the 2 conductors that I am most influenced by, not just musically, but their being human, is, first of all, you mentioned Masaki Suzuki in Japan, and I've got such a respect for the way he makes music, first of all, on the highest level, but when you make music with him, he makes you feel so comfortable the stress element is always something really...
He doesn't put pressure on you.
The pressure, he knows, is there. Everybody wants to be. But what he does is he creates an atmosphere I remember arriving in Japan after being jet lagged, and I went straight into a rehearsal of the aeroplane, and we were doing the Messiah by Handel. And I'm feeling drained, and I'm singing "He Was Despised," this dark text. And every time I looked up at the orchestra and at him, I saw all these lovely Japanese people with smiles from here to here playing their instruments. And I just thought, this cannot get any more special. You know, just this incredible positive support that you're getting from everybody to bring out the best in music. And that's not always the case. And the other one is Ton Koopman, who has the most incredible energy, and no matter what he's doing, he himself has got a joy. His face is smiling the whole time while he's continue playing it and improvising and doing this genius under his fingers, conducting and playing and exuberating joy the whole time. And I made a mistake once in a concert, you know, which you don't do in this profession. And well, I thought it was a mistake, at least it wasn't perfect. And I went and apologized to him, and he said, "My boy, never apologize when you're trying to make music. You know, when you're trying to be expressive and be an artist." And I just thought, wow, so many other conductors would say, "Not employing you again," but he would give you this gracious answer. So on human levels, that's where I usually feel most inspired, you know. Yeah.
I was talking to your colleague of stage here in Timisoara with Mira Glodeanu, and I asked her about what's the difference between a good musician and a great one. What's your opinion on that matter?
Yeah, what a tough question. Yeah, all the technical stuff, you know, you can be a technical genius and all that, and whether it's on keyboard or vocal and stuff, and you can immediately listen to a great technician. But technique, I heard a lesson on one of this tone bass lessons that is out there online, and the teacher said he's not interested in teaching technique because technique is really about sittability, meaning the hours you sit, anything is possible, fine. But what he teaches, and this is what I think a great musician is to be able to draw on life experience and be able to communicate that using whatever technical capacity you have to express it clearly. And I think the musicians who can tell a very clear story and reach an audience no matter what is what you define between a good musician and an extraordinary great musician. So that's, I would say, is my answer.
I also told our audience that you interpreted all the concertos from Baroque repertoire. Why did you choose Baroque? Why did you like Baroque? Why do you like Baroque?
For the record, I like all forms of music. I'm a countertenor, so I'm kind of restricted to music that is suitable for my voice type, which happens to be Baroque. It happens that I do absolutely adore Baroque music also, and I think Baroque music, and I've been totally content and happy singing Baroque music all my life. So I haven't missed really doing later repertoire, but Baroque has given me enough food and joy because I think that it's a music that appeals actually to the masses. You know, so much Baroque music, even the less complex music by Vivaldi or whatever, is very accessible to the bigger public. Some Bach, some stuff, the heavier stuff, might be a little bit more taste specific, but a lot of Baroque music is very accessible and emotionally accessible as well. People feel it immediately when it's played and they respond. So I do think it's an easy type of music to communicate to most people. So I love that. Yeah.
Timisoara has a history of Baroque festivals and old music, so we have an audience for this kind of events. But my last question will be not about the Baroque music, but about how do you take care of your voice? Because we have also a faculty of music here, a lot of singers, and maybe they would like a good advice.
The voice is part of your body, so and it's affected by so many things. It's affected, when you cry and the voice gets thick, when you're upset or anything, it goes straight into the voice. So
the emotion is in the
first
voice.
of all, get control of your emotional state. So don't get too temperamental, which is hard because singers are temperamental types. Try and stay emotionally stable in your life. But physiologically, I mean, it's the obvious stuff like sleep enough, drink enough water.
Easy to say, hard to do sometimes.
Yes, I mean...
The part with sleep enough.
Especially with sleep enough. And it depends from person to person. Stay fit, stay physically on form. Do your stretching because all the muscles are working with you or against you. So stretch and stay. So it's a discipline. That's all I've got to say. You have to be all disciplined all the time. But also singers sometimes get so paranoid about it, and the paranoia gets in the way. So chill out a little bit. Don't let this, do what you need to do and then be relaxed about it. Otherwise, it's going to affect you.
And I think also it's a personal opinion. I don't know if I should express it, but I think I will. Love what you do. It's very important for your voice and for you.
Absolutely. Love what you do. So have the right motivation behind what you do, Decide if it's ambition or love or whatever. It's up to you, yeah.
So, thank you very much for this dialogue. I hope we will see you soon here in Timisoara again, maybe in one of those festivals that I've told you about.
Yeah, with pleasure, thank you.
Thank you very much.